those who don't know, and I'm sure you all know, but yeah, Amanda is
Some people might not know me. Okay.
you're a little celebrity around here, I think. But yeah, Amanda is always experimenting and doing quite interesting things with video at UTS. Um, what she's going to show you now, I have to warn you, we don't actively support at the Alex Lab, but it is really cool, which is why I love the idea of showcasing it. I want these events to not only be like, hey, this is stuff we can support and help you with, but it should also be a platform to go, hey, here's some like crazy experimental stuff we've been doing. No, Sally says I make it sound illegal. No, it's not. In fact, it's really cool. And with that in mind,
Totally not illegal, but yes, sometimes I am pushing the boundary of what the university thinks is appropriate teaching and learning. And
I love it.
But hi, for those people who don't know me, my name is Amanda. I'm a senior lecturer in the accounting discipline group at the business school. And at the beginning of this year, someone thought it would be a good idea to put me in some sort of position of authority. So I'm a deputy head as well. And I'm a total video nerd. And that video nerddom came from what I am supposed to call efficiency, but it's really laziness. Rather than explain the same thing over and over again, I started making explainer videos. And then UTS IT got me in trouble because it was too much bandwidth. Like 10 or 12 years ago, students downloading videos to watch them, there's no streaming platforms or anything like that. I was costing them a lot of money. So they pushed me onto YouTube, and now it's all their own fault. So I love using video. I find it so much more expressive for my students. They get to see me, hear how excited I am. So we use a lot of video, and I actually teach in Microsoft Teams. I don't actually teach in Blackboard because I wanted to do more exciting things with video and with text and with creating learning environments that I could do in Canvas, but I couldn't do in Blackboard, and I can't move to Canvas till 2022. So I sort of went a different way. Now I'm talking about an oral communication task here. My students have a program learning objective and a course intended learning outcome about oral communication. And about 5 years ago, we started with video interviews, which is just how students go for grad job interviews now, and a lot of job interviews through a platform called VPL through UTS Careers. And then this year we decided we wanted to give students more agency. So agency is control over their learning. And we hoped that if we gave them more agency, they'd get more invested in the process and they'd try harder. So we actually gave students options. So for the task, they could have the video interview. They could live interview a special guest from industry in the class on Zoom, which less than 1% of students ever choose that option. And then we wanted to have them make an explainer video. And that's something that's pretty common across UTS. You see them in all of the different faculties, because the pedagogy behind explaining something is if you can explain it clearly to someone else, that helps solidify your own understanding. And it's a nice, authentic assessment. Now, we had used explainer videos in the business faculty for a really long time, but how students submitted them was always a bit of a bugbear. So in introductory accounting, there are like 6 different ways that you could host your video and submit it, which means that inevitably we have heaps of issues in students going, I'm trying to create my YouTube account and it doesn't work, or here's my video on Powtoon, can you see it? Or, oh, I've created a file on OneDrive and I've shared the link with you, can you see it? So it became just unwieldy. And when we decided that we would do an explainer, I wanted to try one method. And I'm sitting in Microsoft Teams. So I use Microsoft Stream for all my lecture content, for all my learning content, any other videos, weekly recaps, meetings, everything for my subject is stored in Stream. And I was one of the first adopters of Kaltura, which has its own, Phil, Bess will know, and Nat will know Kaltura has its own little bugbears with adaptive release and linking to the gradebook, etc. So we thought, well, hey, if I'm uploading into Stream, can my students upload into Stream? Yeah, they can. I discovered they all have a Stream account, and that meant that they had one way to actually submit their assessment. So we use Microsoft Stream because all students have access. Up until now, Phil mentioned the issues with uploading to Kaltura for assessments. They could overwrite it, etc. It was less fiddly than creating a YouTube account, because I think I spent a lot of time walking through students how to create a YouTube account and then how to make their UTS video, an unlisted video, etc., etc. Students can actually record their video directly to stream. So if they didn't want to use Zoom, using the Chrome browser and their computer, they can record their PowerPoint slides and them talking or them doing something, and it goes straight into stream. The videos are stored on UTS Microsoft servers. There's been some discussion in some of our meetings that I've been in about where are we storing assessments? How long should we store assessments for? Is that secure? Is that UTS property, etc.? So that they're on UTS servers, and videos can be any length. If you've ever started a new YouTube channel, and we don't obviously want to encourage students to make 2-hour explainer videos, but if you needed students to upload something longer, there's often a limit on how long you can upload when you first join. And the only instructions I provided were 2 pages of annotated screenshots on how to upload their videos. And I had 171 submissions and absolutely no issues, which I couldn't believe. I was waiting on call for students to say, like, I'm having problems uploading to stream. We gave students the names of who the markers were, so they just put those names in so only those people could see their videos. And it was really easy and seamless. And then to submit their assignments, they just used a Microsoft form embedded inside Teams that they just clicked on it. It was easy to find. They didn't have to go rooting around through the learning management system, submitted the link, and then off they went. And it was really nice and easy. So I've been working a lot with Microsoft over the last 6 to 12 months. So we'd started sort of this process of moving to Teams last year, and we happened to move to Teams and Flip Learning just before COVID hit. So we were sort of in a really nice place when that was happening. So the instructions, yes, I will bring them up in just a second. Let me open my team site for you.
Ooh.
All right, let me share my team site. All right, so my students have everything inside Microsoft Teams. They have all of their content. We use the class notebook for all of our content. I don't give lectures, but they have learning content, they have quizzes. You can overlay a quiz onto a video if you wanted to. That's really easy. So this is sort of just as an idea. I built modules, sort of like you'd have modules in Canvas. You can have pages, you can have linking, so that's all pretty cool. Now in their assessments, they have, this is the Microsoft form where the assessment was submitted. They just had to have their link. And then I will actually download the explainer video instructions, but I just embedded a Word document where I'd given them a whole lot of instructions, ways to make their video. And then these were just the screenshots about how to upload. And I think I actually have a video as well. So I'll copy and paste the video into our video meetup team site, and also into the comments. I'll find one because we made one for another subject, but all they had was those instructions, and I had absolutely nobody who had any issues whatsoever. So it was super nice and easy. I think there is potentially a risk that they could replace their video at a later date, as could happen with Kaltura, but they didn't know enough about Stream to actually figure out how to do that. So that is something, but it's also a nice editing tool. So if they didn't have a computer that had a video editor free in there, or they didn't know how to use it, there were some really nice basic cuts that they could do inside Stream as well. So I'll find those instructions and I'll pop them into our video meetup team site, and then I'll also copy them right here. So that's it from me.
2 questions, just jumping in before you've even finished. One is, what format do you receive it? Does it link to a separate page?
Yeah, it just links to a page where you can just click on the video and then it just streams from there. It
streams with it. Yeah, it's called Stream, of course. Yeah.
So it is super easy. That for my markers, I just gave them a whole lot of links. From the form, we just downloaded the form as an Excel spreadsheet, and I allocated them to the different staff members, and they just went off and clicked and marked, and we marked in review, which is that grading system. There's no grading tool inside Microsoft Teams that we're allowed to use.
And the other one was, would this work, do you think, sharing videos for other students to see and comment on?
You'd have to, so obviously with this sort of thing, you always want to make sure that since it's an assessment task, you get their permission.
Yep.
Then what I would do, just in case their video disappears when their UTS account disappears, when they graduate, or I don't know how long the account might live on, is that for the ones that we thought were the best, we actually asked students if we could share them, and then we downloaded a copy from Stream. So you can actually choose to download a copy from Stream, and then we hosted them within our own subject accounts, just so that they wouldn't disappear, because we know that has happened with student work. They might submit like a Google account doc to something, and then when they leave UTS, poof, it all just disappears. And we've had that happen with, unfortunately, with some research work. One of our research assistants left and had a whole lot of research materials on that person's Google Drive shared with us. And then when their UTS account was terminated, we lost it all. So, yeah. Is there a way to share the video with external people? Potentially, because you can, I'm pretty sure, make videos viewable by others, but it's not, I think we'd have to set that up really carefully, because you then have to say anybody can view the link, which is where maybe if you were doing the YouTube thing, that might be a better option there if you had industry reviewers, because then you just make the link unlisted. But trying to set up a YouTube account for most students just seem to be really, really hard.